live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right, J'Mia, so you already know about this Who's Really Right thing, you know. And before we even get started with Who's Really Right, I just would like to say that we had a Who's Really Right a couple of weeks ago about who was going to win the championship.
Okay.
And last night, the Milwaukee Bucks pulled it out, like I said they would, in 6 games.
All right.
And so I just got to celebrate the wins, remember?
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna let you have it, because my heart is broken for Chris Paul.
I know.
So for me, I can't even be like, my heart is breaking for him. That is my only. I don't care who won. It wasn't the Hawks, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But
I feel worse for the coach. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I feel like between Chris Paul, I would love to see Chris Paul get a ring. Well, I won't talk about that part because I don't want to jump into Who's Really Right. But, you know, I would have loved to see Chris Paul get a ring, but I certainly wanted to see the head coach for the Phoenix Suns get a ring. You know, he's been through a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
he has.
He's been through a lot. And just to see like how gracious he was in defeat, you know what I'm saying? He went to their locker room and he talked to them after the game and talked about how they deserve to win, and they, you know what I'm saying, put up such a hard fight, fight. Yeah. Like it was heartbreaking for me to see him go down, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a great leader of men.
He is.
Like, seriously, like, I mean, so many clips have been shown throughout this whole playoff. And I think he said, I'm not calling you out, I'm calling you up, something along those lines when he was talking to DeAndre Ayton. And like, yeah, he's just such a great leader. And I think we didn't know that.
Right.
And we were able to learn so much about him. I mean, we kind of knew like what he's been through, right? But like to see him in that and really like lead these men, it was really awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome.
It was real cool. Yeah.
Definitely.
So sorry for you, CP3. Sorry for you, Monty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for I'm sorry for all of you all.
Yeah.
But
the best
I'm
team
happy
won.
for you that you got your Who's Really Right.
Thank you. Because you know, I don't get many of these. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
we've had 119 episodes. Probably had 100 and I would say 121 Who's Really Right. So we did a couple of episodes where we had more than one Who's Really Right.
More than one Who's Really Right, yeah.
And I probably maybe 20.
Okay, so this is good. You're celebrating.
Yeah, you know, I can't catch up without the first one. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
On your way. Way.
No, but
That's
so for
funny.
this Who's Really Right, the finals MVP last night was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Good job at saying his last name.
Oh yeah. I be practicing.
Good job.
He's good. I've been like Greek freak.
Okay, good job, Jarrett. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look, I had to go do my research on his name. I didn't even realize that actually wasn't his last name.
It's something else. That's right.
Yeah, it's another iteration of that. But his family, when they moved to Greece, they wanted to take a more Greek sounding name. Their Nigerian name, which was closely related to Antetokounmpo, was changed to that, so it can sound more Greek.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Fun fact about Giannis.
Right.
It's all crazy. Like, right. Okay. Wow. Okay.
After his dominance, not only in this finals.
Did he have to say it?
Dominance. Well, okay.
He had to say it like that.
Well, no. I mean, he scored 50 points last night out of 105. He's almost scored 50% of their points. But after his dominance last night,
last night,
not just last night, but over the last couple of years, because he was the MVP last year and the year before. he is starting to be mentioned in the name in conversations with names like Shaquille O'Neal and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And so our Who's Really Right this week is, does he belong in those conversations? Yes or no? And as always, but not really always, ladies first. Steph, what you think? I think we can see from your facial expressions for those people who are on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
How you feel about this? No?
No, I don't think you've earned that place to be in that conversation yet. I mean, I just don't. I think you have been an exceptional big man. I will not take that away from you. But to say Shaq, Kareem, like you, sir, that is a career-long dominance that we're talking about. Like those guys are the kind, I mean, well, we kind of saw it while they were playing, but you don't talk about them in terms of the dominance that they really had until they're done playing.
True.
Yeah.
Because it was a career-long dominance. It wasn't, we don't know what, you know what I mean? We just don't know. You still, I mean, what is he, 9 years in?
I think 8.
8, 9, something like that. Because they showed this graphic.
I think 13 was when he first came in.
Yeah, they showed the graphic of last night when he entered the 192 pound him versus 242 pound him now.
Right.
I'm like, what is that? So yeah, 8 years. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great career, but I don't know if I'm ready to put you on that level yet, bro. I just don't, because it's not over.
Right.
I can't do it yet. I can't. The people you talking about, if you said somebody else, some of the people that, you know, sprinkle around, is he one like in the conversation with, who can I think of? I don't even know. Like, he can't even be, I was about to say Tree Rollins. No, you can't be them. Again, career long dominance.
Right.
I just, I don't know who I would compare his, I don't know.
Well, so I think inherent in this conversation is, you know, not a achievement, you know, thing for like why he's in this conversation. I think it's more about where everyone were in their career at the time. And so I think when mentioning him in this conversation, and we look at where they were in their careers at year 8, how does he compare? How does he stack up? And it's funny, shout out to L. We were having this conversation via text earlier, and he cannot stand Giannis's game at all. He doesn't like his game. He thinks he's big and goofy, and you know.
Yeah, it's a little sloppy looking. It is.
And what I'll say is, he definitely deserves to be in the conversation. Now, in that conversation, it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about a Lifetime Achievement Award, obviously he's not done playing yet. So
Not a Lifetime Achievement
we couldn't we couldn't compare, and he wouldn't compare with his resume. You know, he's won 2 MVPs. He won the finals. He won the finals MVP, and he won the Defensive Player of the Year. But the conversation that he is in with that is only he and Michael Jordan are the players to have ever done that, to have won multiple MVPs, to have won the finals MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. And so I think that they're like, because Giannis is unconventional, right?
That's a nice way to put it.
Well, he's an unconventional big man. He will get the ball at the top of the key. The offense maybe run through him. And people, you know, when Elle and I were having this conversation earlier, he was talking about, well, offense was run through Shaq. And I disagreed with that from the standpoint of the offense might have been run through him from the standpoint of we're looking to get Shaq the ball.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But who was controlling the offense, right?
Right.
Like sometimes you might have seen.
You can't even compare
Kobe
these
Bryant.
players like that, Jared.
Well, I think you can compare.
They're different. We had that conversation last week, didn't we, about how they've evolved? It's just different.
Oh, right. You know, so and that was kind of where we left off with the conversation. They're different players, but because Shaq would stifle the guards in today's game, right? Because he would clog the lane, obviously.
Right.
The game wouldn't be able to flow the way it does. And so, so Giannis, in my opinion, is if Kevin Garnett and Shaq had a baby, right?
Okay.
Because Kevin Garnett could get the ball at the top of the key and you could run the offense through him. Now, I might not have run through him consistently because they had Rajon Rondo.
Right.
But you could run the offense through Kevin Garnett. You may not have been able to do that with Shaq. But the way that Giannis gets to the basket with the velocity, it's Shaq. It's definitely Shaq-like, you know.
Yes.
And so I think because of, you know, how unconventional his game is, it's not pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like, but how pretty does it have to be when you score almost 50% of your team's points in a closeout game? Like, this was the perfect opportunity for the Bucks and Giannis to say, you know what? We put it all on the line in game 5 to make sure we went up by a game. We can slack here. Giannis is going to give you 100% from the time that whistle blows until the time it blows again.
Yes.
And so I feel like whenever we have a conversation, I think he's just entered into that conversation. You know, I'm not huge on like, you got to win the championship in order to be regarded as a great player. I don't feel like that at all. But I do feel like what he showed in these finals let us see that he's a great player in his own right. It may not look pretty. It might not, he not shooting threes and how the game goes today, but he's dominant for today's game. He can't stand around the basket and put his back to the basket and give you a Kareem sky hook or what's his name from Houston, the Houston Rockets.
Olajuwon.
You know, Hakeem Shaker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not going to give you that, but he is going to get to the basket and he's going to finish. And I think that there has to be something said for that. You know, his game isn't sexy, and so it's easy to say I don't like him.
That's a good way to put it. It is not.
It's not All right, okay, J'Mia, I didn't talk my head off. I apologize. You are the deciding factor.
Oh gosh.
What do you think?
So a couple of things, like the game is different now. So even when we compare players, we're talking about different styles of play. Like the game has changed. Like we're not big man dominant how we were like back when Shaq was playing. So the game is played differently. I do think that he has asserted himself as being dominant, but I wouldn't put him in that traditional big man. Like I think he's almost creating this whole category by himself. Like he's great, he's dominant, but we haven't seen this kind of combination, like you just alluded to, you know, what do you say, Kevin Garnett and Shaq. Like we haven't seen this type of play. Like he's mobile, he's fast, he's gonna block shots, he can hit an occasional 3, you know. So like you don't know exactly what you're gonna get from him, but he can do so many things. So I think he's in his own lane. I don't think he's really trying to be anybody else. Like I don't. Like I think he's just trying to be Giannis, and that's what makes it so interesting. And people are like, well, he's just trying to be himself, and he's proven that the way that he plays the game, it works for him, you know. And one thing I would like to say is that, you know, what I saw from him, I was listening to sports radio my whole way here, first take, but they made a good point about like he's shown. They were talking about different players, but one thing, he's never been afraid. He's not going to back down from nobody. And even this playoffs, he hit 89% of his free throws last night. After we seen the struggles in Atlanta, he was airballing.
He was airballing,
right? So for him to put himself in position to even get fouled, to get to the line, to hit 89% in a closeout game, that's dominant. You know what I'm saying? Like he's shown. So I don't think comparing, I wouldn't do that, but I mean, he's great. Like you can't take that, and that mental toughness and that effort are things that like you may not always see, but those things are just as important as like your natural skill set.
Intangibles.
Yeah.
Okay, so to your point though, is it fair to compare any former players to any of the new school players because of the natural evolution of the game?
I think it's always a difficult conversation. Like we do it out of just like natural, like, oh, well, he's trying to be like this, or is he the greatest, or is he Michael, or you know, like, so even with like LeBron, we're not getting on LeBron, but like even that, it's almost like it's not even fair to each era because the game was played different. Now players are teaming up that Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, they would have never played together. Like they would have never teamed up and created a super team. So like the whole dynamics of the NBA is just, well, I don't think they would have teamed up. It was just a different era.
Before y'all finish that, I had another argument in the group chat with
this group chat be lit.
It does, like with J Boy. I believe it was me, J Boy, AG. We were the only ones that really talking about it, and I think maybe Carl. And so one of the things is they said that they loved how Giannis did it the right way. Mm-hmm. So my question was, and I guess it's a philosophical question, what is the right way? Right? What's the right way? And if there is a right way, then you mean that somebody has done it the wrong way. So obviously they mentioned Kevin Durant. But to jump back to players wouldn't have teamed up back in the day, I think there are a lot of factors that go into that. There wasn't a lot of mobility for players to even join up together in, I would say, the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But the 90s, you had some superstars try to create a super team. You might not remember this, but Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, and Hakeem joined up on the Houston Rockets one year.
I didn't know that.
But the thing is, it didn't turn out the way that they thought it would.
That's why it was not memorable.
I was like, I didn't even know Charles Barkley was part of it. I didn't even know that.
So they played together, and this was, I want to say, right after they broke up the Bulls, right?
Okay.
Because Jerry Krause wanted to move into a different direction, and I'm going to come back to him in a second. But he wanted to move into a different direction.
This is going to be a
whole... Now, and I'm going to keep it, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep it brief.
No, you're funny. I love this. Because you've been getting into this. I love it.
No, I have, and I've been thinking about it more and more because, like, I listen a lot to Gilbert Arenas, and so I don't like the narrative that these players did, like the new age players are soft, right? And you hear that a lot. And the thing is, even if you don't hear that these new age players are soft, the filter around saying that these players are soft is that the game has gotten soft, right? And so if I'm a player in today's game, like, okay, you saying that the game is soft, you're basically saying that I'm soft, but you're not giving way for the natural evolution of the game. Because even if you say that today's players are more soft, they're a lot more skilled. And the reason that they're more skilled is because if Michael Jordan said that I'm going to be in the gym 2 hours before the gym shooting, 2 hours before the game, shooting around and getting a workout in before the game, these players were like, oh, well, Michael Jordan did it for 2 hours. I'm going to do it for 3. So Kobe Bryant goes and he does it 3 hours before the game. Well, then Damian Lillard's like, oh, I'm coming in 4 hours before the game and I'm going to get up more shots. And so players are getting more and more skilled.
They're evolving.
Better.
Yes.
Right? But like embedded in that is that the NBA wanted to take for, I guess, not performance, what's the word I'm looking for entertainment's sake, wanted to take a lot of the quote unquote bully ball out of the game because one, it was hard to watch, but two, it didn't showcase the skill of the players.
Right.
And so you have all of these things that make this game what it is today. And, when I hear stuff like that from like Stephen A. Smith, that the game has gotten soft, first of all, it sounds like one of those old folks, like stay off my grass. But but it also like
the old folks.
It's a mindset that doesn't, like, for me, doesn't allow for evolution, right?
Right.
So, all right, I'm sorry. Going back to my original point, there were super teams. you know, towards like the late 90s. And Charles Barkley, like he really wanted the ring. So he, you know, got Pippen to come down there to Houston. Kareem was already there, and they thought that this team was going to be it. But what they saw was that Charles Barkley didn't work hard enough, you know, and that Pippen needed the perfect situation for him to thrive in.
Right, which he did, yeah.
Huh?
It wasn't Michael Jordan.
No, it certainly wasn't Michael Jordan. But so to I guess go to the next point of the GMs back in the day were the people who created the super teams, right? And so what you started to see is that when basketball became more profitable in the 90s, and some of the owners who weren't owners before became owners, for them, they were really only thinking about green and black, right? If their teams were in the black, some of these owners didn't have an incentive to make the team any better because their bottom line is you know, looks good. And so when you see a owner like Dan Gilbert, right, from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you know why I'm using him as an example. Like we talk about the mop bucket and the broom and, you know, the dustpan all the time. We can see that Dan Gilbert didn't do enough to put a cast around LeBron James, right?
Right. Yeah.
You contrast that with Danny Ainge, who created the modern super team.
With the Celtics.
How did he go and how was he able to get how was he able to go and get what's his name? Ray Allen. And man, what's his name? We were just talking about
Ray Allen. Yeah, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce,
Garnett, yes, okay. And Garnett, how was he able to go get those two players? Well, they drafted Rondo.
Okay.
How was he able to go get those two players to form this big three? Right? And so as a player, when you see this and you know that your GM and your owner isn't going to do the same thing for your team, and the media has said that if you don't win a championship, you are irrelevant, what are you to do?
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
And so I think that that is a part of the natural evolution of the game too, because it's a business. This isn't just, you know, high school basketball or even college for that matter, where I'm on a team, I'm committed to this team, and this team is more committed to winning and not necessarily like increasing the bottom line. Then I can stay on a team and know that you are doing everything in your power to make sure that I'm able to be competitive. And so it's unfortunate that the game has evolved to one where now the media tells you that you're nothing if you don't win a championship.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's worse than life, but yeah.
And so that's kind of what I want to say Kevin Durant was like the pinnacle of that. Like people got on him so much that he decided to go to a 73-9 team. And I don't blame him for it in retrospect, even though I didn't like the move. I don't blame him for it because if all you hearing in the media is that, well, you won't be mentioned with the greats without a championship. It's like, how do I win? There's no way for me to win. I can wait for Oklahoma City to put a great team around me. And they've attempted to. And I want to say that they're one of the small market teams where they will make moves to get the players that they need. Now, they just weren't successful at it.
Yeah.
But if I'm Kevin Durant and I keep hearing that you're nothing if you don't win a championship, then I base my identity in, okay, well, if I want to be something, if I want to be mentioned as one of the greatest players, I got to win a championship.
That was a whole nother conversation.
It was, I know, I'm sorry.
No, I
said it was gonna be quick.
Good because like that's something like in their mind, like that's a whole nother.
Yeah, because I'm gonna stay out of that conversation because I have my own opinion about why are you worried about what?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like that's really where I am.
That's
why are you worried about what people think? Like just go do you, be the best you can be.
And in the Durant situation, honestly, they was gonna, if he would have stayed, they was gonna probably get it the next year. Like that was
I think so too.
a rash.
That was out of
move.
emotion.
Yeah, like they were one win away from the Western Conference Finals.
They were up. No, they were 1 win away from the championship. They were up 3-1.
I mean, yeah, the NBA Finals, my bad. Yeah. Like they were in the Western Conference Finals and they were 1 game away from going to the NBA Finals against the same team that he like, okay, I'm not gonna be the dead horse.
Right.
But yeah, no, the life coach in me says really don't listen to people and don't operate out of your emotions, because that's crazy. Like,
because even now that championship in a lot of people's sports mind, it has an asterisk on it because you wouldn't join people who are already champions.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the reason why he left Golden State, because he thought those championships were going to fulfill him, and they didn't.
It didn't. It did not.
But you're not gonna. But it's not fulfilling him. He thought they would fulfill the people's opinion of him.
And it still did.
And it still
didn't.
It ain't even about his own feelings about himself. It's about what people thought of him. The reason he went there in the first place. And so now you allowed them to say, make you leave to go. Don't get me started.
Yeah, it didn't change my perspective. I looked at him way differently. I wasn't never a Durant fan, but
I'm a Kevin Durant fan, but
it's DC or nothing. But I didn't like the move, but it's DC or nothing. And in fairness to him, 37-year-old Jarrett wouldn't have cared about, what people had to say about championships, but 24-year-old Jarrett might have, felt the pressure to be like, okay, like this is what they said I need to do to be great. I may have caved to that pressure.
I'm sorry. This is why they need us.
Absolutely.
They need Phil to the Real project, because listen, let me tell you something. Don't you let that be what.
And you're already a millionaire. Like what?
I didn't.
You in the NBA, you great already. Hello, like what are we talking about? Yeah. Don't get me started. We ain't gonna keep going because we all off of what we supposed to be talking about. We all off. Okay, I'm gonna drag us back.
Right. No, that's good. That's good, because I would have kept going down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. No, we gonna come back, Giannis.
But it looks like
congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, shout out to Milwaukee.
Yeah, well deserved. But I still don't think you in that combo yet, boo boo.
Yeah. But so it looks like I'm the only one who thinks that he should be in the combo, and it's a nuanced conversation or whatever. Because like you got to take into account for, like, it's either we don't have these conversations because like it's not fair to have them because of evolution, or we have to take evolution into account.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neither one is wrong. Yeah. But the conversations are going to continue to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like for sure. Like they have to.
They will.
In theory, it isn't fair to compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan, and you know what I'm saying? But,
I agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree, but they do it all the time.
But yeah, people do it all the time because we have this as a society, we have this infatuation with like who's at the top,
who's the greatest,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Who's the greatest?
Order, there's ranking order and everything.
Right. Like even when we talk about the richest people ever, we adjust for the fact of how much of the wealth that they had during that time, just so the conversation can be nuanced. So it looks like this Who's Really Right didn't go my way. But y'all out there,
what everybody else is gonna say.
That's true. I was about to say, those of y'all out there, let us know who's really right. Yeah. And do you think Giannis belongs in that conversation, or do you think that he should not be mentioned with Kareem or Shaq? Let us know who y'all think is really right. Everybody stopping. Right. Let's see what the people say. All right.
Now put the cameras on me. 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 Put the cameras on me.